Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. Today we are doing the preview for the most exciting fixture of this season for us against Liverpool. Joining me are Nick and Sam, who are surely very, very excited for this game. Um, First off, going into this game, is there even a sliver of sliver of hope for any of you two in general going into this fixture?
I'll let Sam go first, and then I'll give my take on it because you start with the probably realistic, maybe slightly negative view, but then I'll try and end it on a high a little bit.
Is it negative? Would you say
Well,
do you know what I mean? Like
it's realistic. I did
Yeah.
twine that with realistic as well, but
Yeah.
it still feels negative, doesn't it? Like
it is negative because you're losing to possibly our biggest rivals in the
definitely our
entire
biggest
cup.
rivals.
Like I know a lot of people say City and stuff like that, but for me, Liverpool is always the game
Yeah.
where I have to win this game. I have to win. I don't care what we're doing in the league. I don't care if we're like 10th in the league or if we're at the top of the league. I always want to absolutely smash Liverpool. Does not matter to me. So this is the biggest game for me, and yeah, we are in the worst form I've probably ever seen us in for a long time. I think the worst time, the only worst one is probably under Ragnick. That's probably the worst.
Rangnick.
They were worse maybe, and Liverpool are absolutely flying, top of the table. Players are absolutely. Szoboszlai's hitting the ground running. Salah's scoring goals. Luckily, Darwin Núñez hasn't started to convert yet. Otherwise, that would be really, really scary. So we're just in it.
There's always time, Sam.
Yeah, might do it. Yeah, he scores a hat trick against United. So yeah, it's worrying, man. So I'm sorry to any United fans watching. I do not have any positivity to give you. I'm sorry. Like I wish I could, and I wish I could delude myself into thinking it, but I'll leave that to Nick.
Well, I'm not necessarily going for a kind of deluded view. I just think so. The performance I saw against Bayern Munich, where it was almost the opposite to what we have been doing, like just bombing forward, being naive, leaving loads of space. It was the opposite to that, and I know Bayern still had a few chances, and Anfield's completely different. But I think it's going to be a backs to the wall, compact. We'll get into team selection towards the end as well. I think it's going to be a horrible game to watch this. I do think Liverpool will get chances, and luck will have to be on your side as well. But I think if you can keep it tight for 45 minutes, I don't know, man. I'm optimistic to get to that other side of the hill, but it's climbing that hill first, and then we'll see what happens.
The hill's Everest.
Yeah. But Everest's been climbed, right? So
yeah, people have died though doing it.
Oh, exactly. Well, that's the other end of it, innit? That's what I mean. We could die tomorrow, or we could, climb that hill.
I mean, if you're scaling Everest with Johnny Evans, you all know how it's going to be ending.
Yeah.
And one thing is surely going into this game is the amount of chance creation that will happen in this game. Now, when you look into Manchester United's perspective, the only creative player that we probably got this season for us has been Bruno Fernandes. And before this game, he's in total created 47 chances in the Premier League up until now. Except Bruno, when you look into that midfield, okay, just guess how many chances has McTominay created? Just an average guess.
One.
How many has he created? What was that in all the league, like in general?
Just Prem.
Just the Premier League? Probably none. I'm guessing.
One. McTominay's just created one chance.
Yeah.
Is that assist? One.
And
Was it? Who was the goal? I can't remember who scored.
No assist. It was actually just one where he squared the ball and Casemiro just went in for a shot and it went wide. That's the only thing he's created so far this season. And Amrabat has created 4 chances, and apparently Højlund has created 12 on his own. So for a striker who hasn't had the ball at all, like if you compare it to the 4 players up front, Højlund has had the ball for the least amount of time and he's created 11 chances on it. So it's a very staggering effect that it has. And now that Bruno is suspended, how do you think we can actually create anything against a very good drilled side like Liverpool?
Do you know what? I'm not going to go through my predicted 11 now because I don't want to think it, but I had to think about that and I thought about who he's probably more likely going to play, and I thought maybe Hannibal. I'm not saying he's going to be the creative force because he's not really that kind of player, but I feel like he might go with him for legs, and that's why I'm saying it'd be a back against the wall performance, because I don't think it's necessarily going to be high chance creation. I think it's going to be tugging, fucking 11 men together behind, and if you can hit them on the counter, you know, if you can get it into even. No, Amrabat's not got a bad long ball on him. He can play it in behind. But yeah, the creativity tomorrow is a proper worry for me, and that's why I don't know if he maybe goes with something a bit mad, maybe that you don't expect, because you're gonna have to fill that Bruno hole. You can't do it with McTominay. McTominay played as a 10 basically against Bayern Munich, and we all saw what happened there. So
he's a second striker, isn't he? He plays as like a shadow striker, McTominay, doesn't he? He's not a 10. He's not a 10.
He can't even hold the ball up though. Yeah. Like, do you remember that opportunity he got on the edge of the box? Yeah. And he went on to drop his body shape, and it just went away from him. Like in them moments, especially at Anfield, sometimes they're the only moments you get. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I don't see where our creativity comes from in that midfield, because Nick's touched on McTominay's lack of chance creation and lack of ball control, and then you've got Amrabat, like you said, he can sort of pass the ball about, but he's not Pirlo, is he? Like, he's not this ball sprayer who can sort of put diagonals in and sort of play Rashford in behind and stuff. I'm sure he's got it in his locker, but I've not seen, when I've watched him play, I've not seen it. Like, I haven't seen it. Mainu, it's a hell of a lot of pressure, man. It's so much pressure to go, you are the key to our midfield to beating this Liverpool team, who are absolutely flying. So it's a hell of a lot of pressure. And then Hannibal, again, I've not seen it from his game. He might have in his locker, but I've not seen it. And then that's it in terms of midfielders. That's all we have. We don't have Casemiro. We don't have Bruno. We don't have... Who else is out that's missing?
Eriksen isn't there.
Eriksen's out. Mount's not there. Like, we don't have anybody else. Like, there's no one to play there. So it's going to be 3 of those 4. That's how it's going to be. 3 of those 4. We have nobody else. Like, I don't see him putting Dango in there. I don't see him putting like a youth guy in there. Like, it's not going to happen. Did you say something, Nick?
One thing I was just saying, the one thing I will say, and I don't know if you was going to mention this, Reyes. There's 2 players in my mind who I at least know could play that position. Who I don't know if one of them is available. One is Ahmad, but he's never going to play Ahmad at Anfield, especially as a 10 in a new role. But I know he can play there, and I know he's capable of it.
Yeah.
And the second one is Donny van de Beek, but we know that Erik Ten Hag. Well, has he officially gone?
He's not gone officially.
It's signed. So
it's verbal, isn't it? It's like a verbal agreement. So
well, he can't legally go until Jan 1st, can he? So the deal's agreed, but he can't leave till Jan 1st.
That's what I mean. If you need someone capable and technically good and someone who can link play, maybe Donny. But at Anfield, he'd be like, they're all showing up, man. Stop it. Tell them to stop. So, I don't know.
I mean, the midfield is definitely a big worry. But, on the other hand, if I have to look into this midfield, there is one thing that it has been doing right. And that is actually, winning balls in the attacking third. Just for you to take a guess, where do you think as a team we stand when it, comes to winning balls in the attacking third?
Probably high, because you look at the start of the season, especially against Tottenham, any team that we played, I remember it more so then because mine's kind of clouded results recently. But I know I heard Erik Ten Hag talking about in terms of turnovers and pressure right up the top of the pitch and chances there. It was high. So in terms of specific numbers, I don't know, but I'm guessing it's relatively high.
We did it against Chelsea really well. Like when Chelsea had the ball in their half, we pressed them very high and pressed them. I think one of our goals came from the pressing. And we ended up scoring from it. So I know that's the way you want to play. But it seems like we only seem to do it sometimes. Like we don't seem to do it every game all the time. It just seemed to pick our moments. And I'm like, is that effective as a press? Like as a press, don't you have to be like constantly doing it to put the pressure on the team to make the mistake in order to get the opportunity? And if you're only doing it half the time, then only some of the players are doing it, I find like it's not that effective. Like Rashford was not doing it for so long. And then when he came, who was it he came on against? I don't think it was Bayern. I think it was the game before. And for the 10 minutes he was on, he actually ran about and pressed life out of players and got on the ball and did some stuff. And it's like, if he's doing that... Bournemouth. If he's doing that all the time, it's going to be so much more effective on that left-hand side. But at the minute when he plays, it's just like the left fullback, or like the right fullback, knows he's got plenty of space to run into because he knows he's not going to be pressed by Rashford. So I imagine we're quite high in terms of stats, but I don't imagine our consistency.
We don't convert them, do we?
Yeah, our consistency of doing it isn't high, I don't think. But I'd imagine the numbers are quite good.
We're first when it comes to winning balls in the attacking third throughout the league, more than City and more than Liverpool. The problem is when it comes to interlinking the play into the center. And Højlund has been in those, on an average in 19 times he's in the center of the box, and he hasn't been found by any of our wingers, whether it's Garnacho, whether it's Antony, whether it's Rashford, whoever is playing on the flanks for us. So, of course, he's a young striker who's just come in and then doing a graveyard shift at a club like a Manchester United. It's a very tough ask for him to now, for us to be actually asking him to score goals. And especially at a ground like Anfield, it's going to be hostile and a very, very tough atmosphere to play in. So moving along, from that angle, when you look into Liverpool's attack, you've got Salah, you've got Darwin Núñez, you've got Luis Diaz. And then there is another figure who is being brought into them this season, and that's Szoboszlai. How do you think Szoboszlai fits into the picture when you look into this defensive line that we've got? Because Maguire is out, Shaw is fit, but whether he'll start or not start is still a big question mark. So how do you think we can actually just be able to maintain our calm and composure at the back, especially against players who are playing so well?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? I think you look at our back line now. I mean, we must have spoken about it about fucking a million times, but the different amount of players that have been chucked in there at left back, right back, centre back, just no patterns of play whatsoever, no consistency. So I don't even necessarily think it's going to be just one player tomorrow like a Szoboszlai. I think all four could have joy if they're not on it. They could run you ragged. The positional rotation as well with whoever starts there, because Darwin can go out onto the left. Someone can, Jota can go in the middle if he was available. Salah can go into a tech. It can really blend, and then you've got the fullbacks inverting and stuff. It's going to be a nightmare. So one thing I'd actually say, rather than dealing with individuals specifically, is more concentration in this, because if you're not focused and you're not concentrated, they'll tear you apart, and we saw that last year.
Yeah, I think that Erik ten Hag doesn't like to do man marking, like from what I've seen anyway. Like he's not a man marking type of situation, and it's a little bit old school. But I know when we played Chelsea back in the day, and Ander Herrera basically had a man marking job against Eden Hazard, who at the time was one of the best players in the league, and he shut him down. Like the guy had zero influence, and I think Liverpool have got a lot of players like that. Obviously, you've got Mo Salah, you've got like you said, Szoboszlai and stuff like that. Maybe we have to go man for man. Maybe we just have to stick like Amrabat on him and just keep him quiet, rough him up, put some tackles in, like make sure he's like hassled anytime he's getting on the ball, and just make life difficult for him, because he's a very creative player and he's got a shot on him as well. Like he can score goals. I think I'm not going to get into the team selection, but Wan-Bissaka for me is important in this team, like to shut down those like wingers and stuff like that, because he does really, really well against like world-class wingers. Like he's done well against Sterling. He did well in when we played PSG and stuff like that. So I think he's integral, and I think you have to just, like Nick said, we cannot go into this game and think we can just play out and play some sort of style of football, because it ain't going to work. Like we haven't got the confidence. We haven't got the players at the minute because of the injuries and stuff. We have to just go back to a thing of, like Nick said, back against the wall, snatch and grab, man to man, and just make it absolutely horrible for them to get past us. And then if we get opportunities on the break or on the counter, we've got the pace and we've got people up front who can do that, and just take your opportunities. We haven't took our opportunities lately, but if you're going to start, it's a fucking good game to do it against Liverpool, and that's how I would do it. Whether Ten Hag does that or not, I don't think so, because he's quite stubborn in the way he wants to do things, but that's the way I would do it.
I think certainly, and this is something I hope Ten Hag actually overlooks as well, because if he doesn't, then we all know then how the picture is going to end. And relatively, even this season, the thing with Liverpool has been, even if they have not been performing well, they still been able to actually come out with a win. They might be trailing for like 70 or 75 minutes. The last game against Crystal Palace as well, I think they conceded off a penalty, then they were trailing, and then in the last moments of the game they scored 2 and just won the game altogether. So they're a team who actually know how to just completely change the complexion of the game.
You know what I hate about Liverpool as well? The fact that they could, in a game, and this has happened in about 8 games of theirs this season, when they go behind, So they always come back.
Especially at Anfield.
Yeah.
Especially at Anfield.
Yeah, exactly at Anfield. Yeah. So even if we're 1-0 up and it's the 91st minute, I'm still going to be sat there like, nah, we're going to get... They'll bring it back. They just have that.
I think they're second in terms of goals in the last 10 minutes or last 15 minutes. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I was watching the Spurs game. I was watching the Spurs game yesterday, and they had like the goals in the last 15 minutes. And I think it was Spurs playing yesterday. Nottingham Forest. They were top. Weirdly enough, like they've got 6 goals in the last 15 minutes, and Liverpool have got 5. So that's the kind of team they are. They will put goals in the last 10, 15 minutes. So even if we're 1-2-0 up, it ain't going to be enough. It's just not going to be enough.
Definitely not. And especially against a team like Liverpool, who this season have played 7 games at Anfield. They've scored at least 3 goals in every single fixture. They've got 21 goals at Anfield this season in 7 games and only conceded 5.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's not favoring United in any direction when you look into this game. But considering with the amount of absentees that we've got, if you could pick any single one player out of it, just one, who would you bring in particularly for this game?
Do you know what's funny? I'm thinking about players, and I'm thinking that every single player I thought them within the space of 5 seconds all started that game last year when we got battered 7-0. So again, like if I had to pick one, I don't even know.
It's got to be Lissandro, on it.
I would say Lissandro, yeah, but also as well, I think Casemiro in that midfield would be nice, because if you are going to play a system that's a bit more defensive and a bit more compact, I think he'd be okay. He's a general in that regard.
It's when he gets left by himself, isn't it?
Yeah. That's when I'm worried about him. So probably this game, Casemiro would be really important.
Yeah, I'd go Lissandro. I just think the back line needs a bit of marshalling and a bit of sort of leadership and fight. Like when he first came in and we had that Varane, Lissandro, Shaw, Dalot sort of thing, and then like every time they made a tackle or a block, they were high-fiving and like hitting each other and just fucking like thing, and then we ended up like David De Gea ended up with the Golden Glove because of the amount of clean sheets we had. Like we were solid, and I think you need that sort of leadership in there. And then when you against forwards like Mo Salah, Darwin Núñez, who he's not scoring, but he's getting into dangerous positions, man, really dangerous positions, which bring other players into play. So he's they're a problem team. So I would bring Leacher in, but honest to God, the way our confidence is, I think you could bring Casemiro and Leacher in. I don't think it'd make a difference, honestly.
Yeah. And considering with the way the season has been going and the way certain player selections have been made, McTominay being picked every single game, Diego Dalot, who's not really, been performing well at all and still being picked every single game. If Ten Hag does go with those players again, and we do end up getting battered, do you think it's the end of the road for him?
That's the worrying thing, isn't it? Because he's been so stubborn, like the past couple of weeks, where we've all been screaming from the rooftops to not play certain players and to be a bit more, just not, I won't say stupid, just naive in certain situations. The Galatasaray is one that annoyed me the most. When you go 3-1 up in a game, you are through. If you just played how you did against Bayern,
that's the goal. That's the goalkeeper's fault, though, isn't it? That was the goalkeeper.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But it's just like it's so frustrating. I can't remember your original question, but what was your original question? I'm
just saying, is if we do end up getting battered, like it's a 5-0, 6-0, or that sort of a scoreline, then do you think it's the end of the road? Like Ineos, like Sir Jim Ratcliffe looking into this, and he's saying that the first thing that I'm going to do after coming in is actually getting rid of the manager and bringing someone new.
I can't see it. If it's another 7-0 or another very embarrassing defeat, I can't see him staying.
I think this is his death warrant. Like, if he gets absolutely battered, it's untenable.
I think he'll probably know that as well.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sam?
Like you saw Ollie, he got absolutely battered by the Liverpool, and then the Watford game got battered again, and then that was it, done. Ten Hag he's got credit in the bank from last season, but this season has been awful. And to have 2 batterings by Liverpool back-to-back seasons, it can't happen. Like, you cannot have it. Like, this is a free hit. Like, it's a free hit pretty much because nobody expects us to win. Like, nobody is expecting United to go and win at Anfield, because look at our record. We've not won, I think, the past 8 seasons, we've not won at Anfield.
We have not won at Anfield.
We've scored 1 goal and that was Mourinho's last game in charge of United, and he got fired the day after of losing against Liverpool. So it's not a great omen.
And that was only like a 2-0 or something, wasn't it? Like
2-1, 3-1, something like that.
3-1, 3-1, 3-1.
Yeah.
Like it's traditionally when we play, if we get battered by Liverpool, or you've had a shit run and then we lose to Liverpool, that's traditionally when the managers get pushed and they go. So if he ends up on the end of a beating, then yeah, it's a bit untenable. I wouldn't sack him because I say it's a free hit. Nobody expects us to beat him. So say we get beat 2-0, everybody's going to be like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought it was. So he kind of gets away with it. If we draw by some miracle, everybody's going to be like, oh shit, like they've got an important point there. So it's a free hit for him, really. All he has to do is just make sure he avoids getting battered. Because if he gets battered, I think he goes. Yeah. I think that's it.
I don't know if you've got the league table as well there in your notes, Shreyas, but
yeah.
We're 10 points behind Liverpool, aren't we? So if we lose...
yeah, we're 10 points behind Liverpool right now. If we lose, it becomes 13
points. Yeah. And then I think we go down to like 8th, 9th. That's when it's... And then you want to bring in an interim manager after that. It's the same season as... It's almost the same season as always. Like, you bring in an interim till the end, and then the season's a write-off anyway. So this is a massive game. Massive game.
And it's pretty frustrating because considering Ten Hag's stance on certain players, like when he came and he benched Ronaldo, he benched the likes of Harry Maguire because he just said, he felt that they're not good enough for his team. And now this season, he's had a very strong stance against a player like Jadon Sancho, who's still not been included. There's nothing on him anymore. So it still, is a big question why he's actually making certain player selections when the fans can see it. I think to some extent, even he can see it, what the, majority problems in this team are. And then you've also got the likes of, Kobe Mainoo, who I still get, is very young to start games, but I think still deserves like 30 to 45 minutes at least in every single fixture.
Can I just, whilst you mentioned that there, I was watching Sky Sports News before, right? Pundits, Paul Merson, Tim Sherwood, always
cream of the crop there.
Yeah, top level pundits, if you will. But I saw him talking, right? So Tim Sherwood, in his kind of managerial career, always went with youngsters, never really picked experienced players. Would always back them. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that at all, right? But he was saying in his analysis before, he was like, Kobe Mainoo comes in. Why don't you just play him all the time? Why don't you? And it's like, for young players' development, I get like the urge because Kobe Mainoo is unbelievable. From what I've seen from him, he looks fantastic. And yeah, maybe deserves a little bit more game time in certain games. But you also have to protect him at the same time to say, like, especially at games like this, Anfield, if they get murdered tomorrow and you play these kids in it, it's going to be a mental block for the rest of the career almost. It's going to be, career suicide in that sense. So you have to be very careful and measured. And I trust Erik Ten Hag fucking decision-making over Tim Sherwood's, because let's be honest, look at his managerial career. What the fuck has he ever won to sit there in a seat and start slagging off Ten Hag for doing certain things? And Paul Merson as well. Like, get to bed. Fuck off.
I think there's certain pundits, they were traumatised by the late 90s, early 2000s when United were absolutely dominating. And they were playing in teams that were just getting battered every single season by us. Like, Sherwood played for... is it Spurs and Villa, I believe? I think he played for Blackburn as well, maybe. And then obviously Merson was playing for Arsenal when Fergie started taking prominence, and we battered them for the most part when he was part of the team. So there's all these like traumatised pundits. Gabby Abonlaho's another one. All these traumatised pundits who played for teams when United were dominant and they won fuck all and just got battered. So now they're in a pundit and they've got some airtime. They just decide we're going to take a pop at United because we'll kick them while they're down because they made our professional careers horrible and made it so we didn't win shit because we were so dominant at the time. So I think you just got to come to expect it. And I really dislike the fact that everybody else can be clearly biased, whether it's whatever team it is. Like all the Liverpool players are clearly like biased against their team, and Gabby Abonlaho and stuff like that. But like if a United pundit comes on, he's not allowed to be biased for United. Like he's not allowed to support or anything like that. It does my head in. That really does my head in.
And I think with the way, we all know that Manchester United are one of the biggest media targets out there. And I think everyone out there expects a battering. I think even if, we end up losing like a 2-1 or even it's a 1-0 loss, I think it would still be a big positive for Erik Ten Hag, considering the way that we've been playing, considering the way that we've been setting up. Do you think there's right now any area of Liverpool's side, any department, whether it's midfield, whether it's attack, or whether it's defense, that United could probably exploit or just, concentrate on, just so that, we can just ride the 90 minutes out?
I still don't think defensively they're all that. I think you could definitely get. I mean, you saw that Luton got at him.
They can see. They can see goals. They can see goals.
Yeah.
They do. They definitely concede goals, and they haven't been right defensively since they won the league, and then the years after that, like it's just that back four just never seen Dinger.
After Van Dijk got injured and came back, it just didn't look as balanced as it once was.
Yeah, I think Trent, as good as he is on the ball and going forward, if he does start at right back, you can definitely get at him. I think Garnacho can get at him, or whoever starts there. Maybe
just on that. Considering it's at Anfield, would you mind starting Rashford over Garnacho right now, just for this particular fixture, and because he's relatively had a very, very decent record against Liverpool and against Trent,
and against Big Six as well? Don't forget. Yeah. I think, probably. Yeah, I think I probably would. I mean, if you ever need a game for Marcus to come back in and perform, it's this game tomorrow.
Yeah.
You need him.
He has got the norovirus, I think it is. So he's a doubt. I saw that tweeted today. So he has got like an illness. So he's a potentially.
I saw in the press conference where Shaw and Rashford available. They said they were both available.
But I saw a news thing today that he's got norovirus. So it could.
What is norovirus?
It's like a flu type thing. Okay. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't start Garnacho, to be honest. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't start Rashford. I think I'm done with the guy. Honest to God, I'm done with the guy. Like this season, he's been continuously poor, and I think him on his rich vein of form last season. But you saw what happened after the goals dried up. He was ineffectual as a part of a team. Like offered nothing. And the only reason he was still playing is because he scored the amount of goals that he had. So I just wouldn't play him. I think Garnacho, yes, he's inconsistent and he has moments of brilliance and then he'll lose the ball occasionally. I just think he offers more. I think there's a spark there in him, despite the fact that we're playing poor. So I wouldn't play Rashford, but I think we'll get into the teams anyway. But I think I wouldn't play him.
Just, before we go into the teams, just a quick fire thing. Do you think we'll lose by more than 3 goals tomorrow?
No.
Yeah.
Do you think Onana will make a mistake and concede a goal tomorrow at Anfield?
No.
No, he's been alright in the league.
And do you see United scoring in this fixture at all?
Yeah.
I'll say yeah. I think we'll get 1.
I also agree, and I think that'll be it. It's a potential man. What could go, yeah.
And do you see VAR playing a role in this game?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. It'll be, especially if Hannibal starts. I can fucking guarantee it.
Oh, please, I'm gonna put out into the universe now. If we can win 1-0 with a dodgy VAR penalty or something. Oh, please, let it happen.
And Højlund scores it.
Oh,
I saw a tweet before. It said it was like a load of fans with flares in the crowd going mad, and it said when United are 6-0 down at Anfield, but Hannibal just boots someone in the knee.
Yeah,
it's just everyone like that.
Hannibal 2-foots Trent right in the middle of the pitch. Like.
I still remember his debut. When he came on against Liverpool under Rangnick. He came on in 2-footed Jordan Henderson. Yeah.
Best thing he's ever done.
Hopefully we're not in that situation tomorrow. It was great seeing it, but yeah.
I think we should move to the starting 11s.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Nick, you're up first.
To be honest, the team that I put, I want to change it now. But then I'm thinking, this is what I think Erik Ten Hag will go with. What I want to go with is completely different. But I think I play Onana. Wan-Bissaka I put in there, didn't I?
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Varane and I don't know if Lindelof's available or not.
You
Lindelof's available.
They've not said. You put Evans in anyway.
I'll stick with Evans then if I picked Evans. Because I don't know if Lindelof's available. Luke Shaw left back because I do not want to see Reguilon versus Salah. Please, Lord, no, do not do that. Just don't. Because if you do that, you're asking for a dick in, mate. Because Reguilon, yeah. Midfield, Amrabat, he'll play McTominay. I can fucking guarantee he'll play McTominay. And then who did I put in midfield?
You put Hannibal in there.
Yeah, Hannibal. I'm guessing. Don't see anyone else. And then Antony, Højlund, and Rashford. I think. He'll go with.
Would you be all right if Reguilon played but Shaw played at centre back with Varane?
No, because Shaw played centre back against Bournemouth, and yeah, I prefer him out on the left, just for me personally.
Yeah. All right, it is Shreyas. You're next.
Yeah. So I've also gone with Onana in net. I think Wan-Bissaka definitely deserves a start in this one, and I've gone with Varane and Shaw as centre backs because I still think that the areas where we actually saw, Shaw's game being exploited against Bournemouth when he played at centre back, I think if Varane starts alongside him, most of those areas might get, he might be able to eliminate those sort of things, especially when it comes to aerial duels and when it comes to, just maintaining the stability at the back. And then I think that he'll start Dalot at left back. I've never seen Ten Hag actually benching, Dalot ever. But, on the flip side of things, Dalot is a very inconsistent player. Like sometimes, when he's bad, he's absolutely terrible. But he's done a decent job against, these big six wingers. Yeah, he absolutely pocketed Saka.
It's inverted wingers. Because obviously Salah's left-footed.
Exactly. And maybe it helps him out actually covering his back post as well. Maybe just putting him on the left-hand side. Maybe it helps in raising his awareness. I think McTominay and Amrabat definitely start. I think that third position is either Kobe Mainoo and Hannibal, but considering we're going away at Anfield, I would start Kobe Mainoo because I think if you need to... No. As 6. McTominay will play 10. For sure. Okay. I think if you need to stop, players like Gravenberch, players like Szoboszlai from supplying those balls to, Salah and Diaz, you need to be putting players like Mainoo and Amrabat in the middle. And because McTominay is going to be playing in this game, and I think the only way he can play is as a 10, because if he plays as 6, it's done already before the game starts. So I think Kobe Mainoo needs to start in midfield, and I've gone with the same front three as Nick. Rashford on the left, Antony on the right, and Højlund up top.
Yeah.
Cool. And my team, I've got obviously Onana's in there. I think we have to start Wan-Bissaka just because defensively he offers a lot more than Dalot. And I think we're going to be on the defensive for most of the game. I've not heard much about Lindelof, so I've put Evans in there just because I'm not sure if but it wouldn't surprise me if Lindelof got put in. So I've gone Evans and Varane because they're our only fit centre backs. I've got Shaw on the left, just because I think. Again, defensively, it offers so much more than Reguilon, and going forward, he's decent. So I think you get a little better of both worlds if he plays. Mainoo and Amrabat, just because he's not started Hannibal for a long time. He's not even come off the bench.
Yeah.
So I don't see why he would chuck him in now. Mainoo has had games recently, so I think that is it. And then obviously McTominay is going to play in the 10, even though I wouldn't. But he's gonna
kill your attack so much. Dude.
Antony's going to start on the right just because I don't see him starting Pellistri. He's just not. He's just not going to do it, and we have nobody else. Højlund starts up top because Martial's unavailable, and Rashford I've put on the left. I wouldn't start him personally. I'd put Garnacho, but he's going to start Rashford. Like he's just going to because it's Liverpool. So that's my team.
Yeah, and if I still remember the last game that we played against Bayern, we've got no bench strength at all right now. Like we've got Joe Hugel, we've got Dan Gore, Hannibal, and then we've got 3 keepers or 2 keepers on the bench. Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
Can I read out the bench that we had against Bayern Munich? Right. So against Bayern Munich, we had Evans, Wan-Bissaka, Mabry, Pellistri, Mainoo, Bayindir, Heaton, Reguilon, Gore, Hugel. That was our bench.
It's depressing.
We spent, 1.3 billion over the past, was it 10 years or something? And that's our bench.
Yeah.
Crazy. Crazy.
And if I have to, if just to compare it with Liverpool's bench, they've got Gomez, they've got Konate, they've got Cody Gakpo, they've got Jones, Elliott, McAllister as well. McAllister is injured for this one, but you can just see the quality gap in between the two benches itself. Like, they've actually got players who can come in and make a difference. We've got no one on the bench.
And there'll be two players in that team, Gravenberch and Gakpo, who will want to kind of prove a bit of a point to the manager.
Exactly, because
you know what I mean?
Amrabat was chosen over Gravenberch this season for us, and he's been nothing short of a very compact and very defensive player. Yeah, and he's been very versatile enough for them as well. Yeah.
If he would have been brought into our team, he wouldn't be playing like that.
You've also got to think, like, the amount of injuries we have. Like, obviously, there's a lot of first team. So Alessandro's out. He probably would have started this game, which means you've got an available left centre back on the bench, which is a positive. Casemiro probably would have started this game, which probably means you'd have another available midfielder on the bench. Sancho, due to his own personal stuff, he may or may not started this game, but again, would have been a bench option. Mason Greenwood, obviously, again, due to shit outside of football, that would have been another option, either starting or on your bench. And then Anthony Martial is out sick. I know he's not been great, but again, that would have been another option on your bench. So you just got all
Mount, you mentioned Mason Mount there?
Yeah, Mason Mount. There's another option on your bench, so you probably replace it. So all these players that could have been bench options, and depending on what your opinion is, quality players, like, because obviously Dango is unproven, like, we've not seen enough of him and stuff like that. And Malacia, there's another one. There's a left back option that you can put on there. So you have all these players who are out, who would have been your bench options, and your bench looks a lot stronger, but due to injuries and personal shit, are kind of depleted. So I can't really blame Ten Hag for that. It's just kind of that's kind of the way things are at the minute.
Yeah. And it's a very, very, very tricky situation to be in, especially when the players that he has been picking hasn't done any justice to his decisions or the way that they've been performing on the pitch. And considering, the long-term implications that this game might have, because last season when we played Liverpool, we played them at home, but it just kick-started our season, I think, last season when we played against them. We got the win, and then we just suddenly went on a run. But I think this season is just a flip side, because even if we lose like a 2-1 or if we draw, I think Ten Hag still can be in contention that, it's okay. He's still building behind. I think if we get battered, that's when, it's just, write the season off. Ineos come in, Ten Hag's gone, whether it's Potter, Lopetegui, or whoever it is who's going to be coming into the end of the season, and then just revamp for next season. And in the summer, go in for another 5 or 6 players who will come in, and I think the cycle will just keep going on for some time.
I think we're done if we get smashed tomorrow. I think the media, for one, are going to be all over Ten Hag's back.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're going to be, because media have sacked numerous managers before. I mean, just speaking Ole, Mourinho, Van Gaal. I mean, the shit Ragnick got. And you look at, like, the type of guy he is, the things that he's spoken about. I mean, the media with United can be really, really... I don't know what the correct terminology is for it, but you all know what I'm trying to say.
Everything Mourinho says come true. Everything he said is all correct. Like, it's all correct. Ragnick spoke the truth. Like, anybody who speaks the truth or speaks out against this club or mentions stuff about ownership or structure of the club, they're all just going, yeah, but it's the manager picking the players and stuff. It's just like, you can't be so fucking tunnel vision on just the manager. Yeah. Yes, the manager is responsible for certain issues, selection and certain players playing, and he deserves criticism for that. But the reason the club is in the state it is in is not because of Erik Ten Hag. That isn't the reason. Yeah. It's everything else that's going around it. So
if you're going to get rid of a manager, right, do it with conviction. Get rid of him, and get rid of the fucking players along with him as well, who've been doing this year in year out. Get rid of Rashford for all I give a shit. Get rid of Bruno Fernandes for all I give a shit. Who's not like. It has to come a certain point where it's like, all right, you want to get rid of the manager. Sometimes you have to. Results force your hand. Fair enough. But sell the fucking players who are performing on that pitch, because the manager can do all the tactical work he wants. He can motivate him as much as he wants. But we've seen this from him.
Yeah.
Every like second season.
And sack the people responsible for the transfers as well, because they're culpable. Like, they're culpable. Like, they're the ones who've gone out. Like, every manager that's come in has gone, I want this person, this person, this person. And they've pretty much not delivered on any of their first choices. Mourinho, they gave him, who did they give him? Lee Grant and fucking Dallo one year, didn't they? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how is the manager supposed to win stuff when you give him, that's his options for his transfers? Ten Hag, Harry Kane, Frankie de Jong, all these different players. He's not got any of them. Kim Min-jae. He's not got any of them. And the people above him but they'll keep their jobs. Fucking John Murtaugh will keep his job. Darren Fletcher will keep his job because they won't get fired. So it's the same bullshit,
Fletcher's next manager, Sam.
Oh, fuck off. Like, good player. I respect him as a player, but I'm so sick of former players coming in and doing like I'm done with it.
That's one thing Shrey has. That'll be the final nail in the coffin me for as a Man United fan. If Darren Fletcher is stood in that technical area as the interim manager towards the end of the season, I'll go support. I fuck no Salford or something. Like, I can't deal with that. Definitely not.
I still remember, and Rangnick was asked what is his job at the club. Like, what does Darren Fletcher do at the club? I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of people forget though. Rangnick was brought in himself.
Yeah.
To fucking got sporting director. Like, he weren't even supposed to be a coach. And the shit he got for that, like, honestly.
Can't talk shit about the Glazers, though, and expect to stay. Like,
no.
Exactly.
You can't. So it's just...
And I think the players felt it as well, with the way they performed on the pitch, that this guy isn't staying. Because if they had even a little bit of a hint that Rangnick would have been staying, I think the way we would have played would have been a lot different, especially with certain players on the team who just didn't turn up in any single game and, during the end of that season. And just from the Bournemouth game as well, I still don't understand why Bruno had to do that idiotic scene at the end. Like, you are on, you're going to get a yellow, you're going to get suspended for arguably one of the... Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask you just about that? Do you think, genuinely, he's done that with the thought of Liverpool?
I think Bruno is the last player who I would actually say would do something like that. Like, blatantly just getting out of a game and doing something like that. Probably if it would have been another player, I would have said maybe there's a chance. But, yeah.
The reason why I ask is the pressure of a captain is massive in it. I'm not saying he's definitely not. He fights for everything, Bruno. I'm just thinking, like, I don't know. If you have that in the back of your head,
unneeded. It was just unneeded.
Stupid. Proper stupid.
Who's
the
last?
What's going to happen?
Who's the last captain that succeeded at United?
Well, it would have been Neville, Rio.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Fergie.
Rooney technically, like...
No, but like after Fergie, we don't won shit. So he was like a successful captain.
He won't really have... Whoever
I think last has been Rio.
Yeah. Would it have been Rio? I thought Rooney was captain in like 2013, 12-13 season when he won the Prem.
It just shows like it doesn't matter who we give the captaincy for. Like, everybody fails. Every single person who we're giving it to has failed. So it's just like, what's the point? Like, you could name who you captain, whoever you captain. Oh, it should be Casemiro. Oh, it should be Lissandro. So everybody fails. Nobody fucking is able to do it. So
it's the system. You have to tear the system down.
Yep.
Who would you give it to for this game, though? Bruno's not there.
Oh wow, yeah.
Who would you give it to?
Fucking the whole debate in itself.
If Varane plays, I'd give it to Varane.
Yeah, it'd probably be Varane But then, how can you go from exiling him out the squad for months and then captain at Anfield?
He's technically vice captain, isn't he? Like, I'm sure that was revealed in pre-season.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Honestly,
I don't see who else you give it to. You'd have to give it Varane, I think.
Sure, if Varane don't play.
I think there's even a possibility he might give it to McTominay.
Oh god.
Oh, I can't see that. Yeah. If you do that, you're then accepting the standard that your club is a Europa League side, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, coming down to score predictions now. Nick, what are score predictions?
Sam, you go.
Oh god. Do I just say, like, 'cause I think we're gonna get hammered? Or do I try and put it out?
It's going to be another 7-0 though, or do you think
I don't see 7-0. I don't see 7-0. I don't see that, but I could see 4-5. I could definitely see 4 or 5 going in. I think it's going to be very similar to the Bournemouth situation. Like, we're just going to concede stupid goals that we don't need to think, and we're going to offer nothing up front, which means we've got no threat. So I think he's going to try and play like Bayern Munich and try and keep them at bay, but that means we're going to have the zero attacking threat. But I still think we're going to concede because they're too good. They've got such a good forward line and they score no matter what. And our record at Anfield's terrible, so I'll go 4-0 Liverpool. It's the best I can do.
Who do you think scores for them?
Salah, obviously. I think Szoboszlai will get one. And then take your pick, whoever you want.
Nunes will score, I'm telling you.
God. Yeah, take your pick, whoever you want. But yeah, if United, I'll say 4-1. United get a goal. Just there you go, 4-1.
Højlund gets his first.
Whoever, I don't give a shit. Just yeah.
If you're gonna put your bets on, go with Sam's. I'm gonna go a little bit different. I think it's gonna be a 1-1. I think, or a 2-2 potentially. Like I said, I think it'll be back to the wall. We'll have one shot on goal. Scrape it, scrap it, draw. That's what I think we're gonna
I'll take that. I'll happily take that.
Even I will take that.
Celebrate it, mate.
Yeah.
I don't get people say United, why are you selling it about draw against Liverpool? Have you watched us this season? Yeah, a draw tomorrow would be fucking amazing. Yeah, I swear to God it would.
Yeah.
Like, I would happily take that. VAR, whatever bollocks we get. Give me a draw and I will walk away with no shame.
We'll take anything at this point.
Yeah. No shame whatsoever.
Yeah. And predictions for man of the match.
What score? What score you got, Shreyas?
Oh, 6-0. 6-0.
6-0? Fucking hell, Shreyas, man.
Yeah.
Who would you say, man of the match?
Yeah, man of the match.
Did we pick from United? Or
Fuck off. Don't be stupid.
You don't think we'll be man of the match in general. You know it's not going to be United. Even if it's a draw.
Trent, probably, the form he's in.
Sam?
Alisson. Just going to be one of those days, isn't it? Like, there's going to be some shot for United that any other day goes in, but because it's against Alisson, he's going to pull out ridiculous saves. Like, it's going to be like...
He's going to have one shot to make all game, though, Alisson. He ain't getting no shots on target.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to put it out of the universe so we have a fucking attack because we got one shot on target against fucking Bayern Munich. So have more than one shot on target. That'd be nice.
I think it will be Salah. I can see him once again just getting goals and assists against us, and he's been doing it on a consistent basis as well.
If Reguilon plays, he'll score 5, Salah. Convinced of it. I'm telling you. Do not play Reguilon against Salah, please.
I think I haven't seen a player who has had this lapse in confidence when it comes to fan base, when it comes to Reguilon. Like a week before people were saying, he's looked decent.
He was. He was really good when he came in.
Going forward, he's good. Defensively,
he's decent going forward.
Shite.
Yeah, no. 1v1, Mohamed Salah. No.
I think that's pretty much it for the preview. We'll be doing the build-up as well tomorrow, so please make sure to stick around the channel. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And depending on the result, I think we'll see how many people turn up for the review, how it goes, whether it's a battering, whether it's, it depends on Liverpool how we lose. So yeah, make sure to stick around the channel. And yeah, Nick, want to say something?
I was going to say, just as the last thing, if we beat Liverpool tomorrow, can we have some kind of not a forfeit, but something, I don't know, maybe a shot of whiskey or something if we do it? Would you agree to that?
Yeah, happily.
Okay.
I'll happily do it.
Right.
I'll happily. Okay. I'll do whatever forfeit it is because I'm convinced it's not happening. I'm convinced of it. Can I also say, I apologise to anybody who's watching currently and anybody who watches this later, that the negativity, but honest to God, this season's just killed any sort of hope. I haven't got it in there, and I apologise.
Fans, I mean, most people expecting. I think I've got to get to grain a little bit, but I think I don't know. Maybe a draw. Let's see.
Well, that's pretty much it. So yeah, make sure to stick around the channel, and we'll be back with more content very, very soon.
Big up to Shreyas as well, hosting. Let's go.
Yeah.
See you in a bit.
Yeah.